Hey, this is Jonathan Smith, President of New York Metro. I'm coming at you again to give you an update on what's going on with the reversions, the excessing, the abolishments. Oh yeah, management is really trying to do a number on the postal workforce, and I say the postal workforce and not just APWU workforce because the mail handlers and the carriers are also being affected. But let me give you an update on what's going on. Right now, management has decided that the reversions were not enough, and I explained to you in the last video what a reversion was. A reversion is when a job is vacated and management takes 28 days to decide whether to post a job or to get rid of the job. And of course, every job that has been vacated, management has made a decision to get rid of. They have a plan put into place, and I'm going to tell you what this plan is in my opinion. And a lot of people think that I should not put this out, but I'm going to put this out because you need to know the truth and you need to know exactly who's behind this. There is a guy by the name of David Williams that works at a LaFont Plaza in Washington, D.C. He works in postal headquarters, and he has put together this plan to destroy the workforce, and his thing is he's going to reduce the staffing by any means necessary. And they are making arguments that we don't have the work volume that we used to have, that we don't have the mail volume that we used to have. The problem is the contract 37381 says that we determine the staffing by work hours. And we take all the PSC hours and the overtime hours, and we determine the work hours to appropriate our staffing. And if their argument was correct about we didn't have the work volume, then we wouldn't have so much overtime. We wouldn't have so many PSCs. But as you know, even now that they're reverting jobs and abolishing jobs, they are still hiring PSCs. So it goes totally against whatever argument, or I like to say excuse, that they're trying to make to decimate our workforce. Now, they have moved into the abolishments, and the abolishments is when they take an occupied duty assignment and they get rid of it and saying there's no longer a need in that particular section or tour for that job. Management's total plan is this. There are a lot of employees going around saying, are we going to have an early out? I'm tired of this nonsense. I'm ready to retire. I don't have to deal with this anymore. Well, management is trying to create total chaos in the workforce because they figure if they create total chaos in the workforce, a lot of these people that's talking, their words will become action, and management will use this to reduce the workforce. As you know, that 60% of our postal workforce are eligible to retire. So they're trying to encourage these people to go out the door, not through an early out, but by aggravation and frustration. Now, the second part of their plan is they do not want to convert the PSEs. So our contract says that if there's a residual vacancy, after management finds one individual from reassign, they have to take the next 3, or depending on the size of your installation, 6 PSEs and convert them to full-time regular. But there is a caveat in the contract that a lot of the members don't know. The only time that management has to take a residual vacancy and convert a PSE and not convert a PSE is when you have unencumbered employee. What is an unencumbered employee? It's an unassigned employee, a full-time regular employee that runs around without an assignment. The contract says every employee must have an assignment. So management knows that they do not have a very good argument to revert these jobs with the PSC numbers, the work hour number. So they're pretty sure that they're going to lose these grievances when it comes down to the reversion. But when they lose these grievances and are forced to post these jobs, and these jobs become residual, they're going to have a ready-made pool that they created, not because they needed it, because they were preparing for us to win these grievances. So instead of taking these jobs and converting the PSCs, they're going to take all the unassigned regulars and they're going to force them into these jobs. This is ultimately what their plan is, because they have made a decision. By any means necessary, they are not going to convert the PSCs. Now, I want to share with you what the ultimate goal is, because I don't want people to be so short-sighted, and we have so much attention on this. I want you to take a good look at the files around this table. This is not even half the files that we have to go through because of all the staffing changes that's happening within the New York district and the Northern New Jersey district within our local right now. Those are over 500 changes, probably closer to 600 changes, just in our local alone. I can't even imagine what's going on around the country. But the Postal Service is trying to create a false impression to the American public, but to our political leaders. Everybody knows that we're in a dangerous situation because Donald Trump is in the White House and he is very unstable. You don't know what he's going to do from one minute to the next. Now, the Postal Service wants to break our no layoff clause, but because it's contractually negotiated and it's very hard for them to get it through an arbitrator, and because they know that APWU at the headquarters level will never entertain eliminating the no layoff clause and will not put that as an item on the bargaining table, the only way the Postal Service is going to be able to get it is through an arbitrator saying, here, we have to give you an opportunity to use the no layoff clause. Now, imagine if they're able to go to an arbitrator and they can show 20,000 people that do not have an assignment nationwide, and the Postal Service is going to say, we cannot find a job for 20,000 employees, but yet we're forced to keep them on the rolls because we have a no layoff clause and there's nothing else we can do. They're not going to mention the fact that they're hiring all these PSEs, and if they really had a problem finding all this work for the full-time regular workforce, we wouldn't have these PSEs. They're not going to mention any of that. But there is one other way that they can break our contract. And they can break our contract through a congressional executive order from Donald Trump. And they're going to look to go to a Republican House, a Republican Senate, and a Republican White House, and they're going to tell Donald Trump, we need your help. Do you really think Mr. Trump will hesitate to break our no layoff clause? Like, is he hesitating to throw 23 million people off of health insurance? Is he hesitating to give his millionaire buddies a tax break? Mr. Trump will not think twice about it, so we better look at the big picture. And history shows us through the Staples campaign, we would not have grieved the staple issue away. The only reason that the staple issue went away is because we got out there in the streets, mostly in our local, our retirees that didn't even have a horse in the race, but they got out there and it started affecting Staples' bottom line, their dollar. And Staples and the Postal Service deal was dissolved due to the action of APWU fighting this. This is what it's going to take from the members. The members are going to have to get involved. We are not going to be able to grieve this away. We're not going to be able to pray this away. We're not going to be able to resolve this issue simply in the grievance procedure. Members need to understand the different terminologies in the contract, from a reversion to an abolishment to excess. Each one of those words mean a different thing, and management must take certain action. If it's an abolishment, management has decided to reduce the complement in your section. If they are reducing the complement in your section, the contract will automatically kick you out of Article 37, kick you into Article 12, because once you go into Article 12, it will force management to have an in-section bid just for that section that was affected. And they would have to identify the junior employees that's affected so they can have retreat rights. I advise you to go to your local leadership and let your local leadership explain to you the different terminologies of the contract. And I encourage all the New York Metro members, please, before you get upset, because getting upset is not going to resolve this issue. And the union is fighting as hard as we can, but we cannot fight management and be out there speaking to you every minute too. We are going to keep having these videos to try to keep you constantly updated on what's going on. But I'm trying to tell you that this is war. You frontline managers are cutting your own throat because management, they decide on how many managers they need by how many employees they have to supervise. And if you have no employees to supervise, there is no need for you. So I don't understand, like, we have a lot of managers and supervisors secretly agreeing with us that this is madness, but they won't say nothing in the open. What, are they going to wait till they're on the unemployment line and don't have a job to go back to before they stand up and tell the truth that they cannot run their operation the way upper management is asking them to run their operation? Mr. David Williams, I have a message for you. You will not win. You can cause all the chaos that you want, but as far as New York Metro is concerned, and I believe APWU as a whole is concerned, you have declared war. And we are accepting your challenge. We will not take this sitting down. We will not go away. I have been in contact with our political leaders, both locally and nationally, because we're going to have to bring political attention to this matter. I'm even willing to go to some of these installation heads, the Bronx Postmaster, the Manhattan Postmaster, NDC, DVD if it starts. I will find out your address and I will have a rally right in front of your home complaining about not what you're doing to our jobs, complaining about how you're taking a service away from the American people that they deserve and that they earn, just for the fact because you want to privatize the Postal Service. Well, you will not privatize the Postal Service. You will not disrespect this membership. You will not get away with this, and I will see you on the battlefield. This is not a threat. This is a promise. Until I speak to you next time, God bless you. Jonathan Smith, President of New York Metro.